everybody. Just wanted to talk. I'd love to stand outside and talk with you like a lot of people do and different scenery and stuff, but my arms get tired really fast. Um, yeah, it's been a busy day today. Had the chiropractor, then went to I almost said Jewel. Oh my gosh. I went to Target, did some shopping, found some really cute tops and a lot of stuff that I needed. That Yeah, right. Brought the price up. I mean, I needed new toothbrush heads for my electric toothbrush, and I needed new toothpaste, and I needed new face wash, and I needed some sunscreen. Um, yeah, it all adds up really fast. It's like wow, but one little bag for over $100. But that's okay. I don't have to buy those things again for a while. So, um, got to walk in, got my oil change done. Um, yeah, God's been good to me today. And for some reason, I don't feel so great, but hopefully, hopefully, whatever it is will pass through my system. I actually went and got lunch from McDonald's, and this is the first time since like I don't know, last fall maybe. And I was surprised. Of course, I knew it's just drive through, but um, one sandwich that I really like, the grilled chicken sandwich, they don't have it. They just have the fried chicken, the coated chicken sandwich, and then a bunch of, and then their hamburgers. So I was like, wow, okay, this is weird. And I was like, well, their kitchens are not that big, so they can only have a couple people working in there. So I guess it makes sense. um, they're doing what they can, but there was a huge line in the drive-through. So they're still working. They're still making money. Um, yeah, I just been doing a lot of praying today because I'm just feeling kind of like I'm just kind of floating, not going anywhere. If that makes sense to you. And at my age, I want to keep going with my life. I don't have much time left. Um, but yeah, the chiropractor was great. Oh, I felt so much better. And I think part of it is all the news and videos about George Floyd being killed the way he was by a white police officer. And it's just, it's like these things do happen. And they don't just happen in the US, they happen in other places. You just don't hear a lot about it. Oh, yeah, I saw a great quote from Will Smith, the actor Will Smith, the rapper actor, Jada Smith's husband. um, he said, it's not that there's more racism happening, it's that it's simply being filmed now and going out on social media. So it seems like it's gotten worse, but it really hasn't. This is how it's been for quite a while. People didn't talk about it or anything like that. And it actually, and I think he's right. I don't think it's gotten worse. In some places, I think it's even gotten better. I could be wrong. I just look at the neighborhood I grew up in, which was predominantly um, German and Polish descent. Sometimes people were the first ones in their family born in the U.S. And my family was always looked at as weird because my mother's fathers was born in Wisconsin, and all these people, generations, and also in her family there's Native American, and also goes back to the first European was like in the 1600s that came to North America, and my mom's father's family is kind of like that as well, Native American and Irish and stuff, and they've been here for quite a while as well. My dad's grandparents all came from Poland like in the 1800s, so everybody would look at me like, you're lying. They would tell me I was lying. Either my parents or my grandparents had to come from in other countries. Like, no, no, no. There's a lot of people in Wisconsin who have been here for generations. And, but as I said, it was predominantly uh, German and Polish. My family's all mixed up. There was a family from Mexico. I had a friend who was born here. Actually, it was a really kind of confusing story when I was a kid. It was very confusing. I understand it more now, but her parents were Mexican, and I don't remember what kind of job her dad had, but he spent part of his time in the U.S., part of his time in Mexico. And every time a child was being born, his wife would come up to the U.S., have the baby here, and they had a home here and a home there, and then she'd go back and he would travel back and forth, but the kids stayed here because they were born in America, and they had decided that they should be raised in the U.S., and they had a guardian. I don't know if it was a relative or anything, but they lived not too far from me. We went to school together, and I met her mom once or twice, and I thought it was such a strange thing not to have your parents raising you and a dad who went back and forth between two different countries. It was kind of odd, but yeah, I never saw them treated badly at all. Um, Never heard anything bad said about them. Of course, token family people are thinking right now. And then there was a black family as well when I was in junior high, and wonderful family, absolutely brilliant people. And as far as I know, they were treated fine. Nobody gave them any trouble, as far as I know. And it wasn't actually until I was a teenager in high school where I heard about um, riots and racism in the police department and this and that. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. I guess, well, I was kind of living in a little bubble. And that's when, well, I was a really little kid when we had, there were uh, race riots and things like that in the 60s, but I was a little kid, so I really didn't know about it because it was on a different part of town than where we lived. My parents knew about it, my older siblings knew about it, but I was kind of like, they didn't think little kids should hear this stuff. So I grew up not really knowing about it until I had a friend in 6th grade who had lived in the area where that happened. So she heard all about it because of her older siblings and stuff. And she told me about it, and I was like, so then I asked questions, and I'm like, yep, your cousins were out there protesting rights for blacks, and we were all worried for them, but we were also, and it's like, but mom, that I just don't understand it. And she goes, it's hard to understand. She said, that her dad, when they were growing up in Milwaukee, her dad had friends over from where he worked. There were colored men. There were they lived in an immigrant neighborhood in Milwaukee. We have a huge immigrant area here. And she said, they come over and they talk and everything like that. And they'd sit on the porch. My dad had no problem with them, even though my grandfather, even though he was from Tennessee. And my mom said she didn't really realize the problem until when she was a young person, and they were taking a trip to Tennessee. Her dad had worked on the railroad for a while, so they had free tickets for life or something like that. And so she said when they crossed the Mason-Dixon line, all of a sudden a conductor went past and said, line. And she said all the colored people moved to the back of the train, and the whites came to the front. And she was like, what's going on? What's going on? And her parents were like, just relax, just relax. And then the conductor would come back again and say, line. And then everybody went back to where they had been before. And they get off the train. My mom must have been still kind of small because, but she could read, and she's like, why does that sign say white spigot and that one say black spigot? They're both white. And she said her uncle who had greeted them at the train grabbed her, put his hand over her mouth, and ran out of the station with her as fast as she could. And they get to the place where they're staying with my grandfather's relatives, and there's like, all right, girls, you have to listen to this. There's no getting off the porch without one of the men with you. There's no talking to black people. There's no this and that. And my mom and her younger sister were like, what? So, she grew up, we're not colorblind. I see all the colors. And actually, there's some black people I look at and I just go, my God, they're gorgeous. like, and the same thing with any race. I mean, I see the beauty in them and I see the flaws as well. And yeah, but she was absolutely shocked too. It's like, I guess my family was far more progressive. It didn't matter to us if a person's skin was a different color. And I'm very fortunate to have been raised that way. And, but it's also kind of hard now because when I see these things happening, it's like my brain kind of goes, what? Why? And some people get kind of offended by that I'm not, fuck, and I'm not on one extreme side or the other. And it's like, and they get kind of upset with me. And it's like, I'm sorry, I see the different colors, but I don't see why anybody would get upset about that. I don't understand. So, yeah, I'm kind of running along on time here, so I'm going to call it quits for now. And this has got me kind of off center. I just don't understand racism.